The Giants just fired Brian Daboll. Let's talk about it. It all started in January 2022. After they fired Joe Judge and they forced Dave Gettleman to retire, the Giants were looking to start over. They had been ass for a very long time. So they drove 300 miles northwest to Buffalo to go get their guys in GM Joe Schoen and their new head coach, Brian Daboll. A lot of people were excited about the hiring of these two guys. I mean, the Bills had been successful for a very long time, so we were hoping that they would bring some of that stability to our franchise as well. We will talk about Joe Schoen another day, but what got people really excited about Brian Daboll was the fact that he was good at developing quarterbacks. The most obvious example is Josh Allen, who came out of Wyoming as a super raw prospect, and now look at him being one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Of course, we're looking for them to do the same with Daniel Jones. I mean, they had a lot of similar traits. Josh Allen obviously had high upside, but Daniel Jones had the legs, decent arm. He could make some Josh Allen things happen. And for a second, they actually looked like they were going to pull it off. After a 9-7-1 debut season, which included a playoff win in Minnesota and a Coach of the Year award, the sky was the limit for this team, or so we thought. Here comes year 2, and honestly, 2023 was the first red flag. I mean, we started by getting blown out against Dallas, 40-0. I'll never forget that day. The team got really injured. Daniel Jones tore his ACL. The offensive line continued to be a problem, and they finished 6-11, which honestly, I would take 6-11 today, because he only gets worse from there. Then in 2024, there was no Saquon. We had a revolving door at quarterback, another step back on offense. This time we went 3-14, and by that point, people had completely forgotten about that playoff run. They were looking for results now. And we get to 2025. After a 2-8 start, an 11th straight road loss, and another fourth quarter meltdown in Chicago, ownership was like, you know what? We good. See ya. GG's. The Giants announced that Brian Daboll had been relieved of his duties. Mike Kafka came in as the interim coach, and Joe Schoen was able to survive. And in fact, he's the one that is going to be expected to lead the coaching search. And you know who I'm surprised kept their job? That bum Shane Bowen. I cannot believe it. But there were little things that happened along the way that kind of led us to this point, right? After 2022, a lot of the creativity that we saw on offense just kind of went away. Daboll used to be way more aggressive, and suddenly he was becoming more conservative. The guy was going for it on fourth down quite a bit his first year. But also, how can he do those things if the offensive line wasn't good? And Daniel Jones got hurt. There was a revolving door of quarterback play. It all piled up. Daboll also had a hard time closing out games. He had a bunch of game management issues over and over and over again. It just became frustrating. Then there was also issues with staff. He had issues with Wink Martindale when he was still here. He got a reputation of somebody who was difficult to work with. I mean, that's how we ended up with Shane Bowen. Nobody wanted to take this job. And they completely mishandle Jaxson Dart week in and week out. You almost feel like they don't care about the development of Jaxson Dart. They just kind of want to save their jobs. The guy has been in the blue tents to check for a concussion 4 times this season. It's starting to give some serious Tua vibes, and not in the good way. And honestly, you could tell that after all of this, Mara still didn't want to fire Daboll. He truly believed in the guy. But there's only so many collapses you can stomach before it's time to say GG's. Now, where do we find ourselves today? I mean, Mike Kafka's audition is going to start immediately. If he wants the head coaching job, he has about, 7 weeks to prove that he's the right person for it? He's been in and out of play calling duties. He worked behind Andy Reid. He's the assistant head coach here. And he's interviewed for head coaching jobs for the past 2 years. So there has to be something there. Then keeping things somewhat consistent is good for Jaxson Dart's development. Play calling probably won't change very much. He'll be familiar with everything. And it shows that ownership has more faith in Joe Schoen than they do in Brian Daboll because they kept him. They believe in the long-term project, and honestly, he had 2 shaky first drafts, but the last 2 have been pretty good, which I guess makes sense as to why they kept him, right? I know they've done this for the past 2, they kept Reese and they fired Coughlin, and then they kept Gettleman and they fired Pat Shurmur, and then now they're doing the same thing. But I think this time is different. I think that Reese and Gettleman were really struggling with their drafts, and I think that I see kind of like an upward swing with Schoen. So I'm open to see where that's going. And believe it or not, the Giants' job is actually attractive. You got Jaxson Dart, you got Cam Scatterbu, you got Malik Neighbors, you got some pretty good defensive players, probably another top 5 draft pick, and maybe about $30 million in cap space according to Over the Cap. That's a real foundation. And while people on TV are saying Bill Belichick should come and Mike Tomlin should come, I think the next guy that comes to this team needs to be someone who can help develop Jaxson Dart and find a way to maximize a defense that has way too much talent but has been inconsistent for way too long. I'll make sure to share my head coaching predictions in a future video, so stay tuned. Now it's your turn. Do you think that this was the right move? Or should the reset have started higher up the chain? Get it? See what I did there? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell for future videos. My name is Banjo. This is Big Blue Banjo. First video. See you guys next time.